This is still New Day right here on TV3. Now I have in the studio with me an associate professor and lecturer in agricultural machinery engineering of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in the person of Professor Emmanuel Y.H. Bobobi. Now let's go straight to the point. Now, what motivated this invention? Why, of all things, to invent a cassava harvester?
Thank you. So I come from a rural farming family, and as a child I was actually assisting my parents on the cassava farms and then the rest. And one bitter experience I can never forget is the painful way of harvesting cassava for home consumption. And especially during the dry season, it's a pain, and you get blisters in your palm. So as I've also attended the university and then acquired some knowledge, it is my desire to apply this knowledge to solve some of the few problems that I encountered as a youth. And cassava was one candidate crop that I chose.
Okay, so that's basically what motivated you.
Yes.
Now, are you the first person to ever invent such a machine in the world or in Africa?
No. So there's, cassava is basically, I would say cassava is not a white man's food. So the white man has not invested too much time in it. But countries like Brazil and then Thailand, where they take it up as an industrial crop, they have done a lot of.
How about in Africa?
In Africa, no. This is the first functioning commercial cassava harvester in the continental Africa.
Okay.
So in Africa, this is the first one, but in the world, no. We have others from Brazil, Thailand, and even China.
Now, how different is your harvester from the other ones that are usually imported into Africa?
This harvester that we have developed at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is lighter than the existing ones in the world, and it can be pulled by any medium-sized tractor that the farmers have. Additionally, we have made it in such a way that it is for life, but that cut is just like the blade is just like the knife.
Okay.
So the chemical composition of the blade and that of the knife or the cutters we use in the homes are not so different, except that this one we have incorporated some element to make it more durable, because the soil is abrasive. The soil eats the blade, so the contamination in that aspect is not going to be a problem at all.
Okay, speaking of which, the blade, you came up with this?
Yes. The blade, we have, the one we have is actually having a reversible cutting edge, so that if one end is worn, you can just change it, and that actually increases the lifespan of the equipment for the farmer. And I think for me, this is also one main intervention that we have made to make this thing sustainable, user-friendly, and then acceptable to farmers.
Now let's look at efficiency as compared to the manual mode of harvesting. Give us some facts and stats.
Cassava harvesting is full of drudgery, and I will talk about that maybe if there's time. And when it comes to the dry season, when you have to harvest, the studies we have done is that it takes about 5 to 10 minutes for an average farmer to harvest a stem.
Just one stem?
One stem. But for this device we have got, it takes 1 second to harvest a plant. In fact, during even the peak of the dry season, and there's a huge amplification of effort here. So it is very, very efficient. It is highly productive, and it is supposed to support cassava as an industrial crop, not for home consumption only.
Okay, so if it takes, the harvester is able to harvest more, for example, per second.
Yes.
Doesn't that cause a problem for labor?
No.
Because aren't the machines going to take over the work of the laborers?
Okay. No. The labor, we actually want to even save the laborers, because the drudgery involved in the manual harvesting. Once this technology comes in, the laborers will just follow like we are seeing now, the laborers will just follow the tractor and then pick the uprooted cassava. And that makes them to enjoy the work they are doing, rather than to bend down in a stooping position to have pain. So we have removed drudgery considerably to let the farmer appreciate the work he's doing. Make it user friendly, and it is going to help him or her increase his productivity, but it will not affect his output at all.
Now let's talk about the operators of this machine. Is there any special training that comes into play with regards to?
Well, not so special as that, but because cassava mechanization itself is new on the continent and new in our country, and operators don't even know that cassava can be mechanized, harvesting can be mechanized. So there's a need to actually take these operators through some rudimentary training to be able to do the harvesting properly. You know, the traditional way of planting cassava is anyhow, haphazardly.
Yes.
But to be able to mechanize, we need to plant in rows, preferably ridges. So operators must be taken through how to focus on the ridge in front of them, and then how to set the implement so that the implement to go below the root cluster to be able to excavate. And these are trainings that we can take just a few days to do.
In 2013, when the Ministry of Food and Agriculture adopted the machine, the then Minister, Honorable Clement Kofi Humado, said that the equipment was in line with the ministry's policy of promoting cassava production, processing, and marketing. How has the ministry been involved in producing these machines?
The ministry has been very supportive. In fact, in 2009, it was the ministry that, through the West African Agricultural Productivity Program, awarded me the research grant to do this work, to bring it to this level. And in 2013, the first generation of the commercial versions that the minister inaugurated, they ordered another 10 samples. And so the ministry itself has bought 15. So Ghana, so far we have deployed 21. In Ghana, the ministry has bought 15. 4 has gone to South Africa, and then a private farmer in Ghana has also bought 1 and testing. But I think since 2013 up to now, the idea is that this thing should have been in rows, preferably already to aid harvesting.
Okay. So now, with regards to that, are the numbers satisfactory?
No. I mean, this was a technology that...
21.
Yeah, this was a technology that was, being yearned for a very long time. Now that we have come with it, with an indigenous local content, I think by now, government should have been sent it to all the districts, and then teach the youth and then the school children how to appreciate the new technology. So I think the uptake is getting too slow. And then this is not going to serve as a motivation for future researchers and scientists to rise up to the call for solving national problems.
We do have a picture on our screens right now. What is drudgery?
Okay. Thank you. We always say agriculture is full of drudgery. What do we mean?
Yes, what do we mean?
Yeah, actually that drudgery in the layman's term is pain. The pain involved in doing that physical work. When you go to the gym to lift this weight to tone your muscle, that is at your own volition. But if you have to do that weight lifting to earn a living, that is the drudgery we are talking about. And there are several ways of calibrating drudgery, but the simplest way we have adopted is to use the heartbeat of the farmer. The heart is one organ that can calibrate precisely our feelings, either emotional feeling, whether we are afraid, whether we are sad, or whether we are actually doing physical work. And because we are just focusing on the physical aspect, we want to use the heartbeat when the farmer is doing the physical work. And here, if you see the graph on the left side, there are the heartbeat of 2 women, and then a younger one, and then an elderly one. And the red one is for the elderly one, and then the blue one for you can see the peak there. That is when they were harvesting the cassava. The depression was when they were not doing anything at all. And you see, we started with a low heart rate. Then they were harvesting. Then when they finished, and then they were sitting in the car going home. You see how their heartbeat came down. Okay. That is, you can go there and then take that heartbeat and then actually calculate the amount of energy they were spending doing that work. And that is how you translate it into the drudgery. Because if the work is so tedious, you need to rest for a very long time. That rest period, it will take away from the 8 hours that you are supposed to work. And the longer the rest period, the shorter the time you have. And the shorter the time you have to do the productive work. That is actually how you quantify.
How has your project been funded, very briefly?
Initially, it was funded by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture through its West African Agricultural Productivity Program, which was a World Bank funded program. In 2009, they called for proposals, and then my proposal won, and then they funded it. That's why we were able to outdoor that commercial version.
So finally, how cost effective is it if part of my next year's resolution is to go into cassava farming for an individual? How much roughly would I have to pay for one of your machines? The machine is very cost effective. In fact, we have developed it and designed it to be for life. The only spare part you need is the blade, and so that blade much? It will be between 3,000 to 4,000 or 5,000. So 3,000 to 4,000 Ghana cedis for a machine. Dollars. Yes. $3,000 to $4,000 for a machine. Yes. Okay. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us. Is there anything you might want to tell anyone out there with regards to the investment in cassava?
No, I think Ghanaians, Africa is the leading producer of cassava. We produce about 60% of the world output. But unfortunately, when it comes to the export market, we are not there. And I think with this intervention, cassava production is going to be easy. And then entrepreneurs, policymakers, and scientists should actually make use of this technology so that we can actually promote cassava and make it a multi-billion dollar industry for this country.
Well, we have been speaking with Professor Emmanuel Y.H. Bobobi. He's an inventor and in the agricultural machinery engineering of the Agric Engineering Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Thank you so very much for that.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.